Round 3 of the Tarmac Truck Series starts right now. We've seen drivers come from nowhere and rise up to the challenge. Ernie Williams, a country guy, showing the big boys how it's done on the track. He's won at Daytona and finished inside the top 10 last week. Timothy Lewis rebounded at New Hampshire with a dominating performance. But where are some of the other big hitters this season, and will we see them show up here at Chicagoland? Welcome to Studio 8. I am Ryan Griffith. I've got beside me Patrick Day and Chris Miller. Ernie Williams is your points leader coming out of round 2, followed by Nick Galusha, Nate Davis, Timothy Lewis, and Paul Negus. Timothy Lewis needed his win at New Hampshire and really showed his strength, as did his entire team, finishing 1, 2, and 3. Who will rise up today at Chicagoland? It's Countdown to Green. Patrick Day, Chris Miller, it's race day. How are we doing today?
Well, after last week and the week prior, I'm not doing too hot. It's a new day, a new green flag. We'll see what happens tonight in the race. I think it's going to be a little easier race for everybody. It's a wide track. It's going to race like a 1.5 miler. I think it's going to be a good race for everybody.
That's all I can say. I mean, I just kept it in the wall too much. We're recovering well. New Hampshire was exactly what I thought it would be. I thought we would brew a lot of cautions once we were bunched up all the time, and that's exactly what we've seen. We've seen 11 cautions, I think, for 42 laps. So it's kind of what I expected, and unfortunately, it I don't know, ruined the racing a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Looking at the point standings, as we mentioned, Ernie Williams is still your points leader. Nick Galusha, Nate Davis, Timothy Lewis, and then Paul Negus. That's your top 5. So Ernie, he of course won at Daytona, and then he finished 7th at New Hampshire. So with that 7th place finish, that really helped him secure that number 1 spot still over Nick Galusha. Timothy Lewis finally got a win, but you remember back at Daytona, he got in an incident there, and that really is ultimately why he is in that 4th position right now. You look on past the 5th position, Paul Fly, he was inside the top 3. That was the 1, 2, 3 of the teammates. 7th is Byron Gay. I think that's a notable note there. Is didn't really expect him to be inside the top 10 here after round 2. So Byron Gay in 7th. 8th is Harold Ralph. 9th is Ryan Palmer. And Steve Miller in the top 10 in points after round 2. Did not see that one coming either. So very, very interesting to see the points, how it's played out after going to a restrictor plate Daytona, then going to a very, very tricky track at New Hampshire. We've seen a lot of cautions. You just mentioned that. Let's get more into detail about that. And what was the big issues that you've seen out there, Patrick?
Well, you got your aggressive drivers and you got your drivers that take their time and save their tires, right? So the way the race played out, it played to the aggressive drivers. I got ran over a couple times and involved with some other stuff, and eventually got DQ'd out because I hit that 17X mark, just being part of everybody else's stuff, right? So, or being in the way of people, actually, because I'm trying to run my race pace and getting run over by guys. So, that played out definitely to the guys that were very aggressive and just run hard lap after lap, because they were able to go out and run hard for 5 to 7 laps, and then the caution would fly and you'd be able to cool your tires off, and that happened just the whole race. So, but yeah, good on those guys, staying out front. Great race by Timmy Lewis, Nick Galusha, and Paul Fly, but staying out there, staying out of the trouble, and running hard. They did a great job.
Yeah, and Chris, what do you think that you've seen out there, and what is it that we may need to do to clean things up after he unmutes himself?
Sorry, I had some background noise earlier, but no, I don't know what we got to do to clean it up. I think what I seen the most out there, and I didn't see it when we were racing because I wasn't with the pack or anything. So when I went back and reviewed the race, what We had a lot of guys losing control out of turn two. I think it goes back to what Patrick said, though. We had different guys on different tires. Guys would get a good draft off of people on turn two and get the guy loose in front of them. I mean, we had, I think, 5 different situations off of 2 where the guy pretty much loses control himself, whether it's taking the air off the back end or what, but loses control, and that was 5 of the 11 cautions. So I was one of them. I was the cause of the second caution coming out of turn 2. So turn 2 was difficult. I don't know if it was a tire thing or if it was just turn 2, but I think that was what I seen the most out there.
Okay. I know broadcasting it, watching it, I seen just a lot of really, close racing, a lot of racing incidents that did take place. And I do want to mention this because, this is our first series on the tarmac series or on the asphalt. But Chris, we did a lot on the dirt side, on dirt ITV, and you see Patrick here sitting here, and it's 2 weeks in a row that he hasn't had the finish that he really wanted to have to start this season off. And when you look back at the dirt series when we started broadcasting it, there were several guys that are really, really good on dirt, and I consider Patrick a very good asphalt driver, that struggled early in because of these broadcasts really bring out the best in drivers, and they want to be up front and run hard. And is that what we're seeing, is that all these guys want to be up front as quick as they possibly can, put a show on for the broadcast? And is that why you may see some of the guys that are really, really good, on the dirt side, that we've seen those guys that was really, really good that fell back because of different things, maybe got into incidents that happened? Is that what we're seeing here on the asphalt side as well?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think so. I mean, one thing I seen going back to the replay was a lot of people that would be in an incident and they would pit differently than the rest of the round of pit stops. So, somebody would spin out, and I'm just going to throw this name out there because he was involved in a couple incidents. I'm not saying he was the cause of them, but he was in them. But Ryan Palmer, okay, he was in a couple incidents where he went in and got fresh tires, and he comes back out, and he's definitely got slower cars right in front of him. And whether it's, him on fresh tires or whether it's the guys that are trying to run out the back and be careful, but there was a lot of incidents just caused by that, And Patrick's sake, I mean, I think he's still going to be up front at the end, as far as at the end of the season here. So he's had a couple bad weeks. You look at Ernie Williams, for example. He started 24th this week. He took an EOL at Daytona. I think started 33rd there. So, and he's had 2 top 10s, 1 win in there, and 7th this week. So, I don't know. It's just a matter of being in the right spot at the right time, and unfortunately for Patrick, it's just been 2 rough weeks.
Yeah, and the one that I seen with Patrick, and we can go back on this, Patrick, was when Paul Fly was on your outside there, and he just got loose, and the car just kind of kicked loose and went left, and you're the guy that was there. Just a bad position at that time, and that was just, again, bad luck there.
Yeah, just a racing incident. Not Paul's fault. Driving hard, got loose coming off the turn. I did it too. During the broadcast, you actually mentioned it, right? I was able to hold my car. Didn't have anybody to my inside when it happened to me, so that was good there. But yeah, the unfortunate thing is that when I spun to the inside, I raced it through a caution, so I had to back it up, get going racing again. The good thing that I liked is, actually, after that time, we had our longest green flag run of the night. I think we went about 20 laps maybe, and I was starting to pull guys again, and actually at the end of there, I was running faster laps than the leaders were. So that was, at least I knew that, had I been running well, had we gone long green flag runs like I wanted it to, I'd have been up there in contention. So, yeah, it was a bad night for me, but in the end, I got the pole position. I was fast enough. My race strategy didn't line up well with how the race panned out. And one thing, another additional thing I want to mention that we haven't mentioned it yet on the broadcast, we do have 2 drop weeks in this series. So, it puts me in a tough situation that I have to finish well on all the races from here on out.
Right.
But I can erase those two bad finishes at Daytona and New Hampshire and still have a chance at pulling this championship out.
Great point there, and to mention that, Patrick, it was the drop weeks. And so, if I'm not mistaken, Chris, explain a little bit about those drop weeks and when will we start to see those? I would imagine after this week or next week.
So I'm not 100% positive, but I believe in the past what it happens is I think tonight we're going to drop 2 weeks. Okay, so we're going to go back to just a 1 week score. It's going to be everybody's best race. It's going to look really weird on the point standings next week. I understand that, but it takes both drop weeks into effect, I believe, after tonight.
Okay, so we will continue to monitor that and kind of, pave that road for you of how this is going to look. Because even though it's going to drop 2 weeks, things are really going to progress throughout the season. As if someone has a bad week, 6 weeks from now, that's the race that would end up being dropped, and versus the first 2 races of the season. That's just not how it works. It's your worst 2 finishes is that how that drop week works. All right, before I move on because I think we've talked enough on New Hampshire, because New Hampshire was just New Hampshire. We've seen it on the broadcast how it played out. But I do want to talk about these top 5 guys in point standings. So let's go there right now, and let's look at those. And let's first talk about that first driver in that P5 currently in points, and that is Paul Nagus. 0 wins, 1 top 5, 1 top 10, and 2 top 20s. His best finish was at Daytona in a 4th place finish. He's only led 2 laps. What do you guys think about Paul Nagus so far?
Yeah, he's running consistent and running well. It's going to be interesting to see if he can continue to string of top 10s. And that might all it takes to win this championship. You can stay in the top 10 for every single race. That would probably get you the championship, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think you hit it, Patrick. Top 10s are where it's at. You go back and look, and you're right. He's been very consistent, but he's also at the end of both of those races. If you go back and watch the replay, he was involved in an incident late in the race. There, I think even the last time before we went green for the last time, to where he's been lucky to survive them and come out unscathed. But he sits 5th in the points, and it's about consistency.
Yeah, and that's where it is. You talked about him getting lucky and maybe avoiding things. Last week, maybe not so lucky because he was very consistent inside the top 5, running very well. Late incident, falls outside the top 10. That's where you see the 2 top 20s. So dropped outside the top 10. So it would have been interesting to see where he would have been falling as far as points go if he was able to stay inside that top 5. Because he did have a 4th place at Daytona. You'd be talking maybe even 2nd or 3rd in points, if not better. So Paul Nagus looking pretty good after 2 rounds. The next guy on there in position 4 into points is Timothy Lewis. He does have that win. He won last week at New Hampshire. That rebound, 1 top 5, 1 top 10, and 2 top 20s. He is your current lap leader right now also after coming out of New Hampshire with that dominating performance. What do you guys think of the 41 machine?
Well, if I remember right, I picked him to win the championship, right? So he's right where I thought he'd be. Yeah, I had no idea how Daytona would pan out for him. He had a bad race kind of like I did, but I knew that he was going to be strong at New Hampshire, and he certainly proved it to us. So, yeah, I look for him to be. I look for him to be in this top 5 graphic for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. No surprise here with Timmy here in 4th. No surprise that he won at New Hampshire. I knew he was going to be tough there. I think I took Nick DeLucia to win, his teammate. But look, I knew they would all be good there. They came home 1, 2, 3. So I think what Patrick said, he'll probably be right here in the top 5 the rest of the year.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to that P3 position in points. And that's Nate Davis, the 36 machine. He doesn't have any wins right now. He has 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s. His best finish was 2nd at Daytona International Speedway, and he's led just 7 laps here. What do you guys think of Nate Davis?
Again, consistency. He just needs to keep it going on out. He's a good driver, level-headed. Doesn't put himself in a lot of bad positions. So, yeah, I think he's going to be definitely in the top 10 and could strongly be in the top 5 here the rest of the season. So we'll see.
Well, I imagine he'll probably stay up here. We don't know much about him yet. I mean, we're 2 races in this season. I do believe that he is the second best asphalt I rating in the league up here, so I imagine he'll remain up here. He did push his teammate Ernie Williams to victory there at Daytona. Another pretty good finish this last week. Made one hell of a save one time coming off, if you go back and watch it. I think the caution still comes out, but he was able to save that. But I think you'll see him up here in the top 5 for the most part this season also.
All right, and the next driver is the 20 machine of Nick Galusha. 0 wins, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 2 top 20s. His best finish was second at New Hampshire, right behind his teammate Timothy Lewis. He's led 3 laps on the series, and like I said, currently second in points. What do you think of the 20 machine?
A little surprised of the good result he had at Daytona. So good on him, right? So yeah, Nick's a very fast race car driver. He's one of the guys I would consider an aggressive driver. So he's going to run hard from the green flag. If it goes long green, I think just like he told you in the broadcast when you talked to him, he says he wants as many cautions as he can get while he's up there, because if it goes long green, he's going to burn his tires off, and that's shown in the past. If he could learn to be quick, but save his tires at the same time, he'd be right up there with Timmy Lewis as far as my pick to win championship. I think he's going to be a top 10 contender, and depending on how cautions fly from here on out for the rest of the season and all the races, he could be in the top 3, maybe win a championship too. It all depends on what happens with the luck.
Yeah, I mean, I think I picked him to win the championship, so if he could, Nick's always been an aggressive driver. If he gets in trouble, I agree with Patrick. He's going to be he might be in the range of 5th to 10th somewhere, but for the most part, I think with it being broadcast, I think he's trying to put on a show. I think he's going to keep it clean for the most part, and I think he will be up there, or I know he'll be in the top 5 all season long.
All right, moving on to that guy that's leading in the points, and that's Ernie Williams in the 91 machine. He got that win at Daytona, 125. So he's got 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, and 2 top 20s. He finished last week at New Hampshire in the 7th position. He's led 4 laps on the season. Guys, what do you think about the 91 machine of Ernie Williams?
Like Nate Davis and Paul Negus, I don't know a lot about him. This is the first time I've ever raced with him, but it appears that he may be just a very level-headed driver. Doesn't take a lot of chances and put himself in bad positions, and gets what he can without taking a lot of risks. So, kind of like me, I've just had the bad luck of the deal so far. That's how I try to race. I try to race very level-headed, a lot of give and take during the race until the last 10 or so laps, and then you really go get it right. So that seems how he's driving, and I think he's going to be in a top 10 at least for the rest of the season, if not top 5. If we happen to have some good races where we go green, I think he's going to be up there with me, challenging me.
I got to say, consistency, patience. Consistency, patience. The guy started 33rd and then 24th, and he's came to the front. So I think he's in the points lead because of consistency, and he's obviously made it to the end of the race with patience. So that's why he's where he's at. I think we'll see how the season plays out. I mean, we got a long way to go, but he's off to a great start. Now, the one thing I need to question up there, though, I mean, me being that I work at Ford, why do we have 5 Chevys in the top 5?
That's a great question. So if you're not a Chevy, you might want to change over to Chevy, because it seems like Chevy knows what they're doing.
I drive an Ford this season. Me and Grant are. We'll be up there. We'll see what happens.
That must be the problem. All right, so guys, look at these 5 graphics up here. You've got 2 drivers here of Timothy Lewis and Nick Galusha that's been with Miller Time for a while and raced on the asphalt with you guys for a while. And you got 3 that isn't. So this is really great to see that we've got some new faces to Miller Time and some new faces inside the top 5 that is really challenging some of these drivers. But I want to ask you guys, after this week, looking at the 5 that is up here, give me one driver that will fade away from the top 5.
That's hard to say because it's all going to depend on how the races play out. So I will say this. Nick Galusha, I think, is who I would pick because he's either going to be sink or swim depending on how the races pan out, right? So if they go long green flag runs, I think he's going to have a hard time. If they are caution riddled, he's going to do really well.
Chris?
It's easy for me to say to go with Paul Negus because, I mean, he's already in 5th. If I was to say somebody was going to fall out of the top 5, I bet you we don't see a whole lot of those cars in the top 5 in this race. So I think it's going to play out a little bit different. I mean, I'm going to go with Paul Negus as far as the one that falls out of the top 5, but I think it's going to shake up the points a little bit after this week. But because of the drop weeks, you may not see a whole lot.
Okay, so there you go. If I had someone to drop outside the top 5 this week, I'm going to go with... Hold on, guys. Hold on. Hold on really tight. You ready? I'm going with the 41 machine.
Wow.
I
What's your reasoning behind that?
He got lucky. He didn't really get lucky. He did really well last week. He was very dominant and everything. But I don't know. I just have this feeling right now. I know it's countdown to green and we're almost ready to go green flag, but man, that 41 machine has been really dominant, and I think there's going to be some guys out there that's really going to be going after him and has seen his dominance. So I'll be interested to see what some of these other aggressive drivers, because we've already seen that there is other ones other than some of the ones that we pinpointed out, how they race around that 41 machine, because, I mean, he was dominant last week. And so I anticipate maybe gets in an incident in this one. So that's just a hunch right now. That's just a hunch right now as we are going to countdown to green. That's not affecting any of my picks, so maybe he's still inside my top 3 in the picks. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I got this hunch, that 41 machine, maybe, or maybe I just lit a fire under his butt for hearing that one. So we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against Timmy Lewis, especially I think he's going to be really strong at Chicagoland. We'll see. Yeah, if he's a recipient of somebody else's mistake during the race, then yeah, that could definitely shake things up, and I can see reasoning behind that. But I think he's going to be out in the top 5 most of the race, and you're not going to see that happen. But we'll see.
All right, so we are at Chicagoland. We do have a graphic for Chicagoland to look at the track and what it looks like. So here at Chicagoland, it's a 1.5 miles. So with that 1.5 miles, we're looking at 70 laps around here at Chicagoland. The bankings, on the corners, we got 18 degrees. On the front stretch is 11, and on the back stretch, it's 5 degrees. The length in feet, the front stretch is 240 feet, and the back stretch is 1,700. The width of the track. This is what really is interesting about Chicagoland is the corners 55 feet wide. The front with the apron 82 feet. It's a big wide open front stretch there. On the back stretch 55 degrees. What is something about this track, Patrick, that makes it interesting for drivers?
I think you're going to see a lot of 3 wides going into turn 1. Especially on restarts. But this track you can do that, right? As long as the guys stay within their head and hold their line, you can do that at this track. Yeah, the interesting thing here at this track you're going to see is a lot of the guys going down onto the apron, coming off a 4, go trip the apron right down to the grass and carry it back up. That's what you'll see the load line guys doing there.
Chris, what do you think?
I've ran a lot of laps around here this week, doing some practice, and I think it's going to be. We've seen a lot of inconsistent tire wear from different track conditions. Patrick and I were talking before the show. There's certain times you can only get so many laps out of your tires, and there's other times you can almost make it to the fuel load. So it'll be interesting to see how the tire wear plays out tonight in this race.
Absolutely. And with it countdown to green and we're getting very, very close to qualifying, well, it's time for the picks for today at Chicagoland. Oh, I love this part of the show, the picks. It's a lot of fun. But I have not fared very well. Just going to say that. As we look at the points, I've got a goose egg still. I'm 0. I'm the Patrick Day of the picks right now. Not good. But Patrick Day, you're doing very well right now. You're in first in the points here. Probably not where you want to be. You would rather be first in the actual series, but you can't. I mean, you're winning right now. That's cool. 2 points.
I'll take it. Yeah,
Chris,
had I not picked myself last week, I'd have been 3 for 3. So there we go.
All right, you said it for me. That's what I was going to say.
Chris has got 1 point on this one, so they did well last week. I gotta figure something out here. I gotta get something right. But we're gonna start with Chris with that first pick in the 3rd position. Patrick Day, what does he have?
I think he's going to go with the guy he picked 3rd last week. I think he's going to go with Nate Davis.
Nate Davis. Chris?
I'll tell you, this was tough. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of history to go off of as far as Chicagoland. But I went with Timmy Lewis. I think he's consistent. He's aggressive but consistent. I think he's taking this series. I think he'll be there at the end. I don't think he's going to have enough to pull it off. But Timmy's my 3rd place pick.
So being a dominant driver last week, Timothy Lewis is not picked for this one for Chris. So I'm interested to see who he's got in the number 1 and number 2 spot better than Timmy Lewis after the dominating performance. All right, Patrick, 3rd place. Chris, what does he have here?
Well, I think he went with himself here in 3rd, maybe to take a little bit of the pressure off of him, from last week. 1st didn't work out for him. Patrick took himself here in 3rd.
Patrick, what do you have in the 3rd spot there?
I learned my lesson from last week. I did not take myself. I actually put Wellman in 3rd spot. He's been driving well this year. He's just been a victim of some circumstances not out in his control, right? So I think this is a track where he's going to rebound.
I like that pick. That's a really good pick. Kyle Wellman. He was one that I had picked between Patrick Day and Kyle Wellman to win championship, which, Patrick could still win this championship with 2 drop weeks, and he's just got to go on a run, right? You got to go on a run now and knock off some of these tracks one by one. You're like, I don't know, we got some football fans, but when you go 0-2 or 0-3 to start the season, you better start winning the rest of them. And, well, that's where Patrick's at. He's got his back up against the wall. Kyle Wellman, great pick there in that 3rd spot. Very interesting to see how he does today. All right, guys, I need to know, what do you guys think I have here in my number 3 spot?
I think you're going with one of the guys that's in the top 5 right now. I think you're going to say Paul Negus is going to finish 3rd tonight.
Good pick. Chris?
I think you're a smart guy, Ryan, and I'll be surprised if you don't. You might even have this guy higher than 3rd, but I think you're going to go with Alex Rzinski. He had a 4th place finish last week. Daytona, he ran up front. I think he was the lap leader. So this guy, should have probably 2 top 5s going on right now. I think you're smart enough to probably throw him in here somewhere. You got him in 3rd place. Get him finally a top 3.
Both great picks. Great picks. And Chris said I was a smart guy, but Patrick's real smart. He got it right. Paul Negus, he's my number 3 pick. The 52 machine. He's done very, very well. Seemed to be inside the top 5, always in these races. I'm interested to see what that 53 can do. So I'm going to put him, for the first time, inside the top 3 for my picks. Moving on to the number 2 spot. Chris has the pick. Patrick, who does he have here?
Well, I know I said I wouldn't pick myself, but I think he's going to put me in there. I think he's going to see me rebounding this week and put me in second place. We'll see what his pick is here.
Chris?
Good pick there, Patrick. And, Ryan, I try to give you credit that you were smart, but you also have 0 points, so that's probably a bad pick. Hopefully it works out for you, though, and Paul there. I'm sure he would appreciate a third-place finish. But moving on to second, I took Derek Rolfing, and my teammate. And, we've put a lot of time in this week in practice, and I think we've got this track figured out. I think he'll be our, I don't want to give it away, but I think he'll be our top team finisher. So Derek's going to be there in a second.
Well, Chris, I like that pick because I like that pick because I don't think you're going to get any points from it. So I like it. I really do. I got some insight. I went in a race the other day, went on a practice server for Miller Time. I was about a tenth and a half faster than him, so I don't know.
Good thing you aren't racing then, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But you never know. He may have figured something out. I know he was in there practicing after we all left. I came back and I seen him scouting the track. He was trying to figure out what I was doing. I hope he can for Miller Time's sake. All right, Patrick, number 2 spot is yours. Chris, what does he have here?
What's he gonna go with? I think he's gonna probably take Ernie Williams Jr. here, the points leader. But I don't know if Ernie can have 3 good weeks in a row coming from the back. So he better qualify better this time.
Patrick, what do you got?
That's a good pick. No, I'm going off of a guy that's been running pretty consistent, and I see him doing well here at this track. Szerzynski is going to finish second tonight.
Great pick.
I mean, Steve, somebody's smart.
Yeah. It's a really good pick. I love it. The 23 of Alex Szerzynski. All right, guys, we're up to me on the silver bracket here. The second place finisher for me is going to be who, Patrick?
I think you're going to pick your championship guy. I think you're going to say Kyle Williams finishes the second tonight.
Chris?
I think you're going with Nate Davis. I don't know why, but I think you're going with Nate Davis.
All right, the number 2 spot is going to belong to, gosh, Patrick, Kyle Wellman. I tell you what, Patrick's on to something.
I figured out who the smart one was tonight. It wasn't you.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good at guessing these. So, yes, I put the 42 of Kyle Wellman there in the second position. Yes, as a potential, I think he could win the championship. I think he is going to be very strong here. You mentioned it, Patrick, that you think he's going to be very strong. You picked him third, so he's our first driver that hits the board twice here. Interesting to see what that 42 machine does. He is one of those drivers that is aggressive. And where will that play out against Timothy Lewis? Because I do believe Timothy Lewis could be up front running with them. All right, it's time to move on to that first spot and who the winner is going to be here at Chicagoland. Chris has the pick. Patrick, can you get this one right? Who does
Probably
Chris
not.
have here?
Probably not. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think I said it last week too, and I got it wrong. But one of these weeks, he's going to pick him. I'm going to say Grant Clark.
Grant Clark. Chris, did you pick Grant Clark?
No, I didn't pick Grant Clark, but I am going to tell you this. I picked the winner, and Patrick's tired of this crap. He's going to be aggressive tonight. Patrick's going to come out here, and he's going to win this race. And then when we have the drop weeks after the night, he's going to be in the points lead. Just like that.
Oh.
Good luck, Patrick.
Oh.
Appreciate that, Chris.
Wow. That's interesting. That's very true. He could be the points leader after tonight. Have him 2 drop weeks. Oh. Great pick. 24, Patrick Day. Now, Patrick, you have that pick. Do you have yourself here in the number 1 spot? Chris, do you think he does? Who does he have?
This is tough. Because, no, I don't think he has himself. I think he learned his lesson from last week. But, I don't know that I know he doesn't have Nick DeLucia. I'm stuck between Timmy Lewis and Paul Fly, but I'm going to go with Paul Fly here.
Patrick.
Just stick with your first initial gut instinct there, Chris. It's Timmy Lewis. Yeah. I think Paul's going to run well. We'll see. Paul's getting better week after week, and he's actually learning to save his tires a little bit too. Paul used to be one of those guys that are kind of like Nick DeLucia, that he's a real aggressive driver, just got there, go as fast as he can, but he's starting to back it off a little bit, save those tires, and I think he's going to be in the challenge, but I don't think he's going to beat Timmy Lewis tonight.
All right, Timothy Lewis is in the board twice here. I do have to apologize for the Timmy Lewis having the 42 number and the 41 number. That was from week 1. I didn't correct that third place finish. So someone picked him at Daytona for third there, and I just had not fixed that graphic. So I do apologize. I will get that corrected on the bronze bracket. So Timothy Lewis, great pick there, Patrick. Back-to-back winners. I don't know. That's tough to do. Back-to-back winning.
It is tough, but Timmy's got the talent to do it. That's for sure.
All right, guys. Who do I have as my number 1 pick here to win here at Chicagoland?
Man, I tell you what, I don't even know what to say here because I mean, whoever I pick, I just know you're not going to win. So I'm sorry that I picked you.
Well, here's what you
not
need to do.
Not that I picked you.
Here's what you need to do, Chris.
Sorry, you're not going to win.
You need to listen to what Patrick says and just say what he says because he seems to be right so far. He could be 3 for 3 on this, and he needs a bonus if he does that.
Yeah. Trying to think of who you would pick here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I said I wouldn't pick myself, but I think you're going to be brave enough to say I rebounded this week and I finished the first spot tonight.
Okay. Chris?
I'm going with what Patrick said.
Smart guy. Smart guy, Chris. Who do I have here in the number 1 spot? It's going to be Timmy Lewis.
Yeah, you threw us off there earlier.
I did throw you. But this is where I'm saying I'm having this maybe second thought here that Timothy Lewis is up here because I really think that he's going to be up here racing for that win. But I also feel like Kyle Wellman is going to be up there racing it with it. And I know Kyle Wellman will want it. And if he can, he'll get that bumper there and he will use it.
I mean, I gotta say that if those 3 that you have are in the top 3 on the last lap of this race, they're not finishing in the top 3 because they're wrecking each other.
Okay. It's possible, very much possible. Timothy Lewis, Kyle Wellman, Paul Negus. So, guys, we do see Timothy Lewis in there 3 times, which really is not surprising, seeing the dominant performance that we've seen at New Hampshire. So, to see his face up there is no shock for anybody. Even our viewers are probably like, that makes sense. He was fantastic last week at New Hampshire. We go to Chicagoland, where that track is probably a little bit easier. Well, I would say a lot easier than New Hampshire. So, Timmy Lewis up there 3 times.
You got to remember, me and Chris, too, have been racing with him for numerous seasons, right? And numerous different cars. So, yeah, he's a reason that I'm putting him up there, that's for sure.
All right. I need some points this week, guys. So, the bad thing is I kind of got to get it exactly right to really gain anything on Patrick because Patrick has Kyle Wellman and Timothy Lewis inside his top 3. So I I won't gain a whole lot on Patrick if it does land that way. I just need it to go in order, because if you get it in order the exact way, first is awarded 3, second 2, and bronze 1. Guys, it's time for Chicagoland. Countdown to green is over. It's time for qualifying.
See you guys on the track.
What does it mean to be official? To earn the badge as a trusted source, a symbol of quality and pride. For 95 years, Craftsman Tools has been the backbone for those who build, for those who innovate, for those who pursue goals greater than themselves. To be the official tool of NASCAR is to represent the best of what's possible. For the teams, for the sport, for the future.
Oh! Put on the brake, wheels to the left. Go, 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 go! Go, 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 go. Oh, no! Be aggressive, everything.
Checkered flag is in the air, and he has done it!
And that future? Well, it's back to where we started. The NASCAR Truck Series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series returns in 2023. We build pride. One turn, one lap, one race at a time.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway played very tough for many, except for Timmy Lewis, that won in dominating fashion. Today we reset and come to you live this evening at Chicagoland Speedway on a mostly cloudy 83-degree evening as we will work this race into the night. Nate Davis in the 36 machine. Well, he's doing well in points. He's currently 3rd in points. Last week he finished 9th. He's looking for a better one here at Chicagoland. Nick Galusha, the 20 machine. Well, he finished 2nd last week. He's 2nd in points. He's due for a win. You also got Paul Negus in the 52 machine. Done very well. He did finish 14th last week. Got in a late incident. He is 5th in the points right now. So take a look at that 52 out there on the track. He may be one to watch. Another guy is, of course, we talked about him in the Countdown to Green show, the 41 machine of Timothy Lewis. You can't count him out as he had a dominating performance last week at New Hampshire. Everyone is chasing the points leader of Ernie Williams. That has fared very well over the last 2 races, with one being a big-time win at Daytona 125. So he's going to be one to watch here and see where he plays out throughout the evening. And I am your host, Ryan Griffith. I've got the call for you all evening long, and I got to say thank you for tuning in to Tarmac Esports for Round 3 of the Truck Series here on Miller Time Motorsports. Well, the points after 2 rounds looks a little bit something like this. Ernie Williams, we just talked about, he has the points lead after round 2 with 111 points. Right behind him, Nick Galusha with 105. And then 1 point behind him is that Nate Davis that we talked about. Timothy Lewis is in the 4th position. 5th is Paul Negus. 6th is Paul Fly. 7th is Byron Gay. 8th is Harold Ralph. 9th is Ryan Palmer. 10th is Steve Miller. 11th is Alec Szerzynski. And 12th is Craig Bridge. That is your top 12 coming in to tonight. Looking forward, well, we got a good one coming up after this race. Next Wednesday, you see it, the short track at Bristol, November 15th. Make sure you check out the Countdown to Green at 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We are getting close to qualifying, and after qualifying, we are getting you set for green flag racing after this short commercial break.
In a world where being at your peak is everything, one gas station dares to fuel more than just your car. This summer, don't just fill your gas tank, fuel your peak potential.
Hi, Cheryl. What got into you?
Download the Sunoco app today. Fuel up, save up, and fuel your best.
And there's your beautiful baby.
Any day now.
Really? You're eating Doritos? He's eating Doritos on my ultrasound. Do you see what I have to do?
I know.
Give me that.
Rookie or veteran, no matter how long you've been coming to this event, there are butterflies. There have to be.
The biggest race of your career, one of the biggest races in the world. I guarantee you there's a lot of butterflies.
The white flag in the Daytona 500. It's time to get busy. Horrific crash on the final lap of the Daytona 500.
Second time, the Daytona 500 goes to Jimmy Johnson. I don't mind you just won the 500. Kurt Busch wins the Daytona. Are you kidding me? Wow. That's it, you man. Denny Hamlin wins his second Daytona 500 and wins the Coach Gibbs.
Welcome back to the Tarmac Series. We're at Chicagoland tonight, and this broadcast can't be made possible without Bell IT Solutions and also Miller Time Motorsports. That's the league, Miller Time Motorsports, for the Truck Series. Qualifying has just concluded, and the top qualifier in this one is going to go to... It's going to go to Paul Fly. Paul Fly on top of the leaderboard currently in this one. All right, we had some technical difficulties there with the tower. We've got the tower back in, and we're getting you set to get this grid started. Here is how it looks. Top qualifier, Paul Fly. He's in the 94 machine. Is outside of him, Trevor Catalow. That second row, Patrick Day, Timothy Lewis. Third row, Zach Dykstra. Sixth, Ryan Palmer. Seventh, Daniel Quigley. Eighth is Kyle Wellman. Ninth is Derek Roffling. 10th is Nick Galusha. That's your top 10 right there. And we will be going green flag here in just a few moments. As you seen there on top of the leaderboard, that was Paul Fly, and Paul Fly looking very fast. Paul, you got a copy? Paul, do you got a copy? We will check you back in this audio here in just a second here. Give us 1 sec. Paul Fly, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Paul, 94 machine there. Put it on the front row here for Chicagoland. What do you expect here early in on this race?
It'll be interesting to see kind of who fades and who
who gets going. I'm sure Nick will be up here shortly, and then we'll pass him after a couple laps when he gets his laps led. But we'll see who saves how much and if you save the correct amount, and hopefully we do that.
Doing well last week. Looking for another good rebound off of last week. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Paul Fly there in the 94 machine. So Paul looking good there. Kyle Wellman. We talked earlier in the show. We'll see what he has in store. Kyle Wellman, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, Kyle. We talked a little bit about you in the Countdown to Green, and also just to the start of this race. Feel like you might be a threat tonight, and what are you going to give him tonight?
We're going to give him hell. That's what we're going to do. I love this track. It's probably my second best track on the service, especially in the trucks. We got some guys that definitely faster in qualifying, but in these cars, or trucks I should say, we got a lot of draft that's going to make a lot of hard decisions for people.
All right, good luck to you tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right. So we're going to be going green flag here out of turns 4. Again, right there on that front row, Paul Fly, race leader. A lot of people requested the car number beside the car name, so we're going to do that for you guys as the show goes on tonight. Green flag is in the air for the 94 machine. Patrick Day follows right in behind. We'll see how aggressive Patrick Day will be here in this one. Trevor on the outside of Patrick there, side by side there for second and third. 41 of Timmy Lewis looking to the outside of Patrick Day as well, with Ryan Palmer in the 10 following right behind his teammate. Ooh, Timmy Lewis gets sideways, and Timmy Lewis is in trouble early in on this one. Whoa. Did we see that one coming? Your race winner from last week, Timmy Lewis, goes around there, and he was loose off of turns number 4. Take a look at the replay on that one. As Timmy Lewis goes around there off of 4. Them tires not quite heated up enough, and the 41 gets loose there. Couple cars hit him. He slides up the track, gets into Andrew and Chris Miller. Chris Miller into the wall, so that's how that one works out for Timmy Lewis. So Timmy Lewis in some trouble early in on this one. And that 41 machine, you see the scrapes all up down the side of it. He'll come into pit road to make repairs on that. All these drivers have one fast repair, so it'll be interesting to see if he uses that fast repair or if he'll sit in the pits and try to use up the crewmen and the over-the-wall guys and see if they can fix that car for him and save that fast repair. So early in already, we have our first caution of the day. Cars wanting to heat those tires up, and probably need to do so. There you are, your temperature. 83 degrees, 73% humidity out there, so it's a little muggy out there here at the racetrack. Take a look at the track facts here. Well, it's a 1.5 mile track. Banking's at 18 degrees in the corners. The front stretch is 11 degrees. The back stretch is 5 degrees. The length of this place, fairly long there on the front stretch in feet. 2,400 feet. And the back stretch is 1,700. So that front stretch is a little longer. Of course, it's arced all the way. And then you look at that front stretch apron. Look at that. Front stretch with the apron is 82 feet. So you'll start to see those guys dip clear down onto that apron. And as you see them come across the start here, dip way down on that apron, down to the grass, and back up to the outside wall. So a little bit about the race facts today, brought to you by Bell IT Solutions. You got 70 laps here. So that equivalates to 105 miles. Your pit speed is 45 miles per hour. And the fuel window, you're probably looking around 35 to 38 if you can conserve some fuel. So it's going to be a very, very tight fuel window to try to make it in one stop here. As the lights are out on the iRacing pace truck, so we are going to go green flag here. Kyle Wellman up to 4th already, up 4 positions in this race. Jeff Herman up 7 spots in this race. And Bobby Smith up 8 spots. Larry Bell up 8 spots. Edmund Jones up 9 spots. So we got 32 drivers and several guys already on the move early in on this one. Fly, going to look for the green flag out of turn 4 in that Geico restart zone. Patrick Day to the bottom side of the raceway to try to get a run on your race leader, Paul Fly. That's going to be the race for the lead here early in on this race. Patrick Day to the bottom side. Works up right in front of Paul Fly. Paul Fly's going to cross back underneath him to try to take that position back away. Paul Fly, there you go. You talk about it. Clear down on the apron, down to the grass. That is Paul Fly. Paul Fly back to the race lead. Patrick Day will drive it in there hard on the top side. And here comes Wellman to the bottom. It's going to be a 3 wide for the race lead with Wellman on the bottom. That 42 machine, he wants it, and you can tell he's going to be aggressive to go get it. Moves Paul Fly up the track. Paul Fly gives way, and here we go, another 3 wide back there with Ryan Palmer. Fly's in the middle. Fly going backwards here on this start. Ryan Palmer down on the bottom in that 10 machine. Here comes Derek Roffling. Roffling down here in the 88 machine. There's 3 wide still. Paul Fly is all over the track right now, losing positions left and right. He was a race leader just a few minutes ago, and now you've seen he's dropped way back in this pack, clear back to 9th. He's dropped 8 spots in this one. Back up front, Kyle Wellman looks to the bottom side of Patrick Day. He takes the race lead over from Patrick Day there out of 4. So move the 42 up to the number 1 spot. He's up 7 spots in this race. Patrick Day following close in behind the 24 machine. Nick Galusha in that 3rd position right now. 20 machine. He's up 7 spots in the race. Really good tight racing back in here from about 5th on back. And whew, boy, we about seen Paul Fly take it into the infield. Somehow he made a great save in that 94 machine. Good racing here with Derek Roffling, Brian Palmer. They're side by side. Still Kyle Wellman leads the way right now on the 42 machine up front. It's a good battle right here with Derek Roffling and Ryan Palmer. Last lap around, your quickest guy out there on the speedway is actually who we're looking at right now, and that's Derek Roffling. He was the fastest on that last lap. Wellman still up front. Patrick Day looking like he may lose a position to Nick Galusha now. Galusha goes to the bottom side. Maybe seeing some tire saving by the 24 machine after he got up front. Here comes Roffling. He said he was fast. He was the fastest on the last lap. So he's right there in the mix with Nick Galusha on the bottom side. 55 got a little loose there on entry. He holds it. 3 wide there. Ryan Palmer, Patrick Day, Derek Roffling. That's 3-car battle there for the 4th position. Right now, I'm sorry, for the 3rd position. Nick Galusha has that position. Patrick Day. Patrick Day has the 2nd position. It's a three-car battle for that second position as they start to close a little bit closer in on Kyle Wellman now. Rothling has now cleared Nick Galusha. Rothling now has a good run on Patrick Day to take over that second position. We'll be able to do it down here in turns 3 and 4. 88 down to the bottom side of the raceway, closes in on your race leader. Will we clear the 24? No, we will not, but the 24 may have scraped the wall there. Just the slightest contact, but Derek Rothling able to take that position away. Kyle Wellman to the bottom side of the raceway, 42 machine. Looks like this race is heating up front here as Wellman knows it. He can hear him, he can sense him, he can see him. 88 machine right there in the Goodwrench car. Patrick Day just following right in behind. Patrick Day, you look at his last lap times. It'll show down there on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. 31.539. Look at Derek Rothling's last lap, a 31.456, up 7 spots. And your race leader right now turning a 31.350, so he was faster than both of those guys up front. Galusha still runs in that 4th position. Jason Haynes has moved up into the 7th position. And Jeff Herman up 14 spots in this one. And Edmund Jones, well, he's up 21 big spots in this race. On board with Derek Rothling. Runs about middle line. You can hear him just burp that throttle just a little bit there on entry of 3. It goes right down to the bottom. Not quite down to the grass here. Not racing for position, so not sure how that would wear on tires. There he is. Burps the throttle just a little bit there on entry in 1. Look at the manufacturers right now. We said that Chevy's been leading the way. Your top 5 positions in points have been Chevy. Well, your top 3 are Chevy right now. Your Ford driver, that's Patrick Day in 4th, and we got a caution out on the speedway. Caution flag waves out on the speedway for the 2nd time. Looks like it was Paul Negus. We will try to find out what happened to Paul Negus here. Caution flag has waved out on the speedway once again. The 2nd caution, a good green flag run there, so it'll be interesting to see if we get some takers here in the pits. As here's what happened to the 52 machine. Off of turn number 4. Nope, car right in front of him spins, and the 52 has nowhere to go. As we will take a look one more time. We'll rewind that back for you. There it is. Take a look at it one more time there. Sorry, the flag was up in your eyes there. As a little contact there. Edmund Jones, he was on the move too. Up 21 spots in this race, and just unfortunate for him. Unfortunate for him. As you can see, cars starting to come down pit road, and we'll look and see what these drivers take. If they decide to take 4 tires, I imagine they will. Service of the 42 machines going on. Derek Rothling in the 82. Service done on him. .42 is out of the pits now. 42 coming out in the 2nd position. You got Sam Reed that decided to stay out here. in that 55 machine. But Kyle Woman up 6 spots in this race. Derek Roffling up 6 spots, and Jason Haynes there in the 4th spot there coming out. He's up 7 spots in this race. See if we can dial in on Sam Reed here. Sam Reed, you got a copy?
Yes.
Sam, looks like you decided to stay out here and get some tracks position. What's your plan here?
Well, they told me pit lane was closed when everybody was backed up right there, so I don't know what's going on with that, but I guess we're up here.
You're up here now, so good luck to you. Track position may play out for you.
I hope so.
Good luck.
Thank you.
This is the 55 of Sam Reed. Let's dial up that 88 machine. He's been quick. Derek Roffling, got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Ryan?
All right. Look pretty fast out there. Challenging for the race lead. What do you got for these guys out there? Is the truck feeling good?
Yeah, truck's feeling great. I've run probably 300 laps of practice, and I finally figured something out last night, how to run this thing at this time of night, and I'm looking pretty racy right now.
All right, we're going green flag. Good luck to you. All right, iRacing Pace Truck lights are out. It's on the command of the 55 of Sam Reed in the Geico restart zone. Pace Truck dips off. We're back to green flag. 21 laps down, 70 laps. Total is the distance, 105 miles. We have cars that went down pit road, and so they have went down pit road, but they cannot make it the rest of the way. So they will have to stop once again. So Sam Reed staying out front may have worked out for him as we get a car that's really loose. That might have been Jason Haynes. He holds onto that car somehow, but now it's 3 wide, and oh man. We will have to take a look at that. Here comes the 92, just plows in. Ernie Williams Jr. as well involved. He's your points leader. The 53 of Larry Bell involved. Nate Davis was involved. There were several cars involved there on that restart. We'll have to take a look at that one and see what happens. As we will go back and take a look at it. Let's get one more look at that. That's a hard hit to the outside wall there. The 92 comes in. Try to look at the Ernie Williams cockpit here and see what he's seeing. And they're stacking up, and everything just comes down to him and spins it around. Doesn't look like a whole lot of hard contact there for him. As we'll wind it back a little bit again. This is on board of Larry Bell, deeper back here in the pack. Nate Davis starts to come down to try to avoid it. Didn't realize there was a car there, and Larry Bell's got to go for a little bit of a ride here. All right, let's take a look at Stephen Polacek as we've seen him involved in this wreck. 66 right down into him. Nowhere to go for him. And so several cars involved in this one. Unfortunate for a lot of good drivers there. They are having some issues. If you are a Timothy Lewis fan, you're in pretty good shape right now because Timothy Lewis up to 11th position after an early incident there on lap 2 goes around. So Timothy Lewis is rebounding. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes.
And there's your beautiful baby.
Any day now. Really? You're eating Doritos? He's eating Doritos on my ultrasound. Do you see what I have to do?
I know.
Give me that.
Welcome back to Chicagoland for the Tarmac Truck Series. Kyle Wellman, now your race leader, still in that 42 machine. Precautions in on this race. 25 laps down of 70 laps, so still a ways to go. And still, if you stop now, you still have another stop here. Those guys that took repairs, they are back out on the speedway. Look at your top 10 right now. A lot of movement now. Kyle Wellman, Sam Reed, Derek Rothling, Nick Galusha, Trevor Catallo, Daniel Quigley, Paul Negus there in the 7th spot after having some incident in that caution on lap 2. And then Byron Gay in the 8th position. 9th is Harold Ralph, and 10th is Jeff Herman. Sam Reed, 24 spots up from the beginning of this race. Still yet to take a pit stop, so we'll see what he does here, because he'll probably have to pit here in the next 15 laps, I would say. As we're looking for green flag here, the iRacing pace truck will dip off onto the pit road. It's in the Geico restart zone for the 42 machine. .42's got the command of this race, and he has took it over way back when, after about lap 5, 6, 7 or so in this race. Derek Rothling has looked strong in the 88 machine, so see how he does. Nick Galusha, the 20 machine. He's been fast too, and he's really fast on short runs, cools those tires off, and he can get it. The 20 machine, he's had some really good luck in that 20 machine. He has not got that win yet. He does have one top 5. And his best finish was last week at New Hampshire. He finished 2nd. So he's only led 3 laps. He would like to lead a couple more. He's running 3rd right now. Paul Negus, the 52 machine. He looked good early in. He got involved in an incident, so he's trying to keep his car clean in this one to the end of this race. 3-car race up front. They're kind of just keeping it single file right now. It's about a 3-wide race back here with Daniel Quigley, Timothy Lewis coming back to the front, and Paul Negus on the outside. There's the 41 machine coming back to the front of this one. Sam Reed dropping a little bit here, but you got to think he does not have as newer tires as some of these other drivers, so he's trying to hold on there for a little bit and hoping that this goes green flag here. He can or get a caution, quick caution here, maybe pit. So 3 wide around him with Harold on the outside, and man, Sam Reed gets up into the 31 there. Andrew Thornton, haven't talked a whole lot about him. Andrew Thornton led a few laps there at the Daytona race, so doing well. Back up front, Nick Galusha now has taken over the second position. They have passed Derek Roffling. Roffling's starting to fade a little bit here. Nick Galusha looking to lead some laps as he's only led 3 on this series, and he's trying to get around that 42 machine, and I bet that 42 machine is not going to give that position up very easily. He likes it up there, and that's where he's at right now. Dips all the way down to the bottom of the apron, just right back up. That Nick Galusha is right on his tail, and right behind him, Trevor Catalo, I hope I'm saying that correctly, is right there in the 3rd position in the 54 machine. That's a 3-car battle for your race lead. Timothy Lewis now to the inside of Quigley. Quigley looking like he's going to give that position up pretty easily to Timothy Lewis. Back up front, that race is still there. I mean, look at the back bumper of Nick Galusha. He's running hard, trying to take that position over. Looking to the inside now of the 42 machine. Will he be able to clear here in 3 and 4? Sticks to the top side. Who will lead this lap across the line? Looks like Nick Galusha will lead that lap. So Galusha has led another lap, but he's up to 4 laps led on the series. 42 not going to try to give it away too easily here, working hard on the outside of Galusha. Going to try to use Galusha's stuff up on the bottom, because the harder you run down on there on the bottom side of the racetrack, the harder that is on that right front. He's trying to push him down there and make him use up his stuff. Still side by side, and it's been side by side that entire lap, one entire lap side by side. Trevor not sure who to go with here. Side by side, he can't get any closer than that. I mean, that is some tight racing with Nick Galusha and Wellman. Trevor kind of just not sure where to pick the line right now. He knows not to go 3 wide. As Nick Galusha takes the position over and Kyle Wellman goes to the bottom. He got a good run there on the exit of 4. Give that lap to Nick Galusha still, just barely. Galusha to the top side. These guys act like it's the last lap here. Wellman and Galusha going at it side by side, and here you got another car, and he's going to, oh man, we about had the wreck there with a 54 machine. What a save by Wellman there. As Trevor takes the position over, here comes Kyle to the bottom side to try to take that position back over. While all this is going on, Derek Roffling has now caught him, and Timothy Lewis has caught him. It's a 5-car battle for the race lead. What a great battle we have here, 36 laps in of this race, and it has really heated up at the halfway mark of this race. Trevor has taken over that top position, the 54 machine. Timothy Lewis looking to the bottom side of Roffling. Kyle Wellman slides right up in front of Nick Galusha, not much room there. Galusha just pushes him down the front stretch. We will ride on board with Galusha. Nick Galusha looking to the outside of the 42. Now going to look to the inside. No, stays right in line with him. Really pushes the 42 and gets the 42 loose. He just moves the 42 out of the way. That's that bump and run we talked about in the countdown to green. Will that come into play with Kyle Wellman later? As Nick Galusha just showed him how to do it. And we'll see what happens later in on this one, as this is still really, really early, and these guys are really racing hard. Will they be using up a lot of their stuff, and will somebody else come back in this race? That is the question that we will see and find out here as we are getting down to past halfway now. Trevor has kind of opened up the gap. Nick Galusha now in that second position. Timothy Lewis runs third. Derek Roffling runs in the 5th position, and Kyle Wellman in the 5th position after getting that little bump and run. Get out of my way. I'm tired of you being there. Daniel Quigley running in that 6th position. Randy Lapidus runs in the 7th, up 10 spots. Paul Negus runs in the 8th position, and Andrew Thornton runs in the 9th position. We haven't talked much about Alex Trzynski, but he runs in the 10th spot right now. Look at the cars up here running pretty good lap times right now. There's your best lap of the race, and that is Kyle Wellman. He holds the best lap right now. You look at the last lap, where drivers are and how fast they are moving. Race leader, 31.751. He's running the fastest pace out here right now, and he is leading the way right now and opening up a gap on Nick Galusha, running about 2/10 faster than him. Battle back here with Alex Trzynski and Andrew Thornton. Trzynski up into the 8th position. Trzynski running pretty good times back here at 8th, so he's saved a lot of his stuff up. He's at a 31.993. He's cracked that 32 into the 31 mark. Jason Haynes also running 31.9s back there. Patrick Day turning around 32 flats on back in there. Grant Clark a 31.9, so some guys back here still running some pretty good laps. Nick Galusha and Trevor, the 55. We've got him listed as the 55. His paint scheme says 54. We'll go by the paint scheme of the 54 machine. There you have it on the pit stops. You can see those that's had one pit stop, those that's had 2 pit stops already on the board there on that tower. And there's your gap back to second place, about a second and a half back, and he just continues to open that lead up more and more. Trevor looking strong early in on this one, past the halfway mark, so not early in, I should say. Looking really well right now, and he gets into the wall there on the exit of 4. Maybe pushing that car just a little bit too much there. There you go, your last lap times, a 32.094. Still faster than the rest of the field right now. Timothy Lewis has taken over the 3rd position. So he's able to get by Rothling. Alex Trzynski now up into the 7th position. Paul Negus up to the 6th position. He's been on the move, got back around Alex Trzynski. Trzynski looking to the inside of Negus. Goes down to the bottom side of the raceway to try to shorten that turn up a little bit, but maybe use a little bit more of his stuff to try to get under the 52 of Negus. He's there. Will he clear him here in 3 and 4? Gap up front now at 2 seconds. 2 seconds for the gap up front. Alex Trzynski able to clear Paul Negus there. Timothy Lewis not able to make any kind of moves on his teammate right now. They're just running 2 and 3. That's the 20 and the 41 machine. There's your leader right now, and you can see the gap, quite a pretty good gap between 1st and 2nd. We'll run down the field right now with Nick Galusha in that 2nd position. He's up 8 spots in this race. Your next car is Timothy Lewis running that 3rd position after early incident on lap 2. He gets loose out of turns 4. So he's back up into the 3rd position. Kyle Wellman up 4 spots in this one in the 42 machine. He runs 4th. 5th is Derek Rothling. 6th now is Alex Trzynski. He continues to make way to the front. 12 spots in this one. Paul Negus in the 7th position. 8th runs Daniel Quigley. That just flip-flopped with Andrew Thornton. Now Thornton up. In the 10th position, Jeff Herman. 11th runs Harold Ralph. 12th runs Patrick Day. 13th is Grant Clark. 14th is Jason Haynes. 15th is Craig Bridge. I'm sorry. Zach Dykstra runs in the 16th position. 17th is John Watt. 18th is Josifer in the 93 machine. 19th is Ernie Williams Jr. He's your points leader and currently running 19th. So he's looking to come back in this as he was in that incident later around the halfway mark. Byron Gay runs in the 20th position. Stephen Polacek in the 21st position. 22nd runs Nathan Davis. 23rd is Steve Miller. 24th is Randy Lapidus. 25th is Sam Reed. 26th is Bobby Smith. 27th is Larry Bell. 28th is Chris Miller. 29th is Brandon Boyles. And 30th is Paul Fly. These three cars are off the track, and Ryan Palmer's off the track, and Edmund Jones is off the track. Brandon Boyles, Paul Fly, and Ryan Palmer are all still on the track. Edmund Jones is in the pits. And now you see Nick Galusha coming in to service pit stop under green flag conditions. We will look at him as he takes his pit stop. As Kyle Wellman now takes over the race lead. As Trevor is also in on pit stops. He's making green flag pit stops as well. Ernie Williams is taking pit stop. Nate Davis is in for pit stops. Josifer's in. Stephen Polacek's in. Now we got some other guys coming down pit road as well. That's 42 of Wellman. He'll take pit stops here. Alex Szerzinski, the 23. Timothy Lewis in for his pit stop. Several cars. Patrick Day in. This is a heavy pit stop on this one. Heavy pit stop. Heavy traffic down pit road as several cars are in. Right now, Paul Negus takes over the race lead up front. So Negus is your race leader. He will surrender that now as he starts to come down pit road. Quigley in, Zach Dykstra in. Grant Clark takes over the race lead in the 06 machine. Zach Dykstra down pit road there, right in front of Harold Ralph in the 15 machine, the Tide car. Again, Paul Negus, the 52, in for pits. Grant Clark is your race leader with Craig Bridge running in the second position now. In the 07 machine, and Byron Gay is third. So when will we see Grant Clark come in is now the question. As you look at the pit stops, as you can see those that are in pit lane, and those that are exiting pit, how many pit stops have been made. You can see Grant Clark has 2 pit stops already in this one. But he will need to come down before the end of this race still. He's out there leading in this one in the 06 machine. All right, the cycle of pit stops come through. Nick Galusha back out onto the track, and Nick Galusha up to 7th. But look at there, Alex Szerzinski. He wasn't even close to Nick Galusha, so Szerzinski was pretty quick on the pit road there. So that 23 machine, he's been on the move, steady, has been the way for him. He works the top side of the racetrack, maybe save a little bit of tire there. Wellman back in for pits, may have been serving a speeding on pit road in the 42 machine. Grant Clark is now in. He surrenders the lead. We said that he would have to come in. As you can see, Kyle Wellman makes his stop there, and it does look like he's taking tires. I'm sorry, maybe he was not in on pit road. There are so many cars there on pit road. Byron Gay now takes over your race lead. Steve Miller running in the second position now. So Byron Gay is going to take a couple laps here and lead. When will Byron Gay make his pit stops, and will Steve Miller be able to take over the race lead? And it does not look like it, as Steve Miller is going to come into pit road to service that machine. Alex Szerzinski looking really good. You can see Trevor had a huge lead. just did not get down pit road in a good time, so that is really, really hurting him. You can see there the pit stop times and where they lost. And your race leader, Catalano, he is down 3 spots in this one after the pit window. Of course, Byron Gay still your race leader right now because he has not came down for pit service. Randy Lapidus now takes over that lead as Byron Gay comes in to service that machine. Alex Szerzynski now comes up on Randy Lapidus. Randy Lapidus did make a pit stop there. May have only took right side tires, and Alex Szerzynski just blows right by him. Nick Galusha runs in the 2nd position now. He takes that one over. Derek Roffling back in here. Back further from these guys. You look at the gap intervals. There it is. So Roffling about 4 seconds back after green flag pit stops. And we're only going to have 11 more laps to go in this. Alex Szerzynski, great pit stop for him in that 23 machine. That may be the deciding factor here for that 23 is that green flag pit stop. Great in, great out. Everything worked out. Nick Galusha, we have said that he's good on short runs. So is he saving a little bit of stuff here for that 23 later on? We've got 10 more laps around Chicagoland. Will he be able to get there? Randy Lapidus runs in the 3rd position, taking those 2 tires. He does lose another position, but that may have been a good call for him as the car was not working. The truck was not working to his favor tonight. That 2 tires may have just gave him enough track position to take that lead. You've seen there on the exit of 4, Nick Galusha gets on that outside wall, trying to push that truck as much as he can to get to Alex Szerzynski. Here's your last lap speeds. Last lap, the 20 car was a little bit faster than the race leader, but really not enough to make a difference. As you see there, Alex Szerzynski a little bit faster than him, so they're kind of equaling themselves out up front right now with 8 to go. Lap car down to the bottom side of the raceway gives way to your race leaders. Bobby Smith there in 98. And that gap continues to widen out there for Alex Szerzynski. Working it very, very well on the top side of this raceway. Trevor is back at that 3rd position. He is maybe a little bit faster than your race leaders, but is he going to be able to get there is the question. He's 1.7 back. He gained quite a bit on that lap, so keep an eye on those intervals and see if he starts to gain on your race leaders. So it is happening, and now you can see Nick Galusha really starting to gain on your race leader now. Down to 4/10. Still 4/10 here with 5 laps to go. Can Galusha get there? Or will Trevor be able to run him down? He's 1.5 back, 1.4. He just slowly starts to close in. Made a mistake there on pit road, and that one really hurt him and really hurt his chances because he had a great lead going into the pits, but just did not get in and off quick enough. And now he's having to really push that car, and will it be enough? As it doesn't look like it is. It's 4 to go now. He's really going to have to turn some really blistering laps here to really get to the back bumper of those 2 up front. Nick Galusha now within 3 tenths or so. All he's got to do is get there. And who knows what will happen if he can get there. That's the thing. He's just got to get there first. As the 23 is really working it smart up top, really saving some tires. So if he has to go to the bottom, he's going to be there. As Nick Galusha continues to work the bottom, maybe using a little bit of that up. Now 4 tenths back. The 54 machine now 1.2 back. Derek Rothling runs 4th. Patrick Day now inside the top 5. Not gaining anywhere. And looks like he's going to hold on to maybe that 5th position. Jeff Herman, probably your biggest mover. No, I'm sorry. Alex Rzazinski is your biggest mover, up 17 spots in this race. As they come across the line with 3 to go. Looks like Trevor may end up getting to the back bumper of Nick Galusha, be able to take that position away, as he's within a half a second of him. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Tarmac Esports Truck Series with Miller Time Motorsports. If you haven't hit that like or follow button, please do so. We greatly appreciate it. It's our first series on the asphalt. We're normally on Dirt Eye TV, and this is the sister station of Dirt Eye TV, the Tarmac Esports. 2 more trips around for your race leader, Alex Rzazinski. Will he be able to hold on for that 23 machine? Nick Galusha not able to close the gap as he continues to lose from your race leader. Paul Fly gives way to your race leader. Paul Fly up top. White flag is out on the speedway for the 23 of Alex Rzazinski. Alexander Rzazinski looking to hold on here to win, coming out of off the backstretch into 3 and 4. Looking on the exit of 4. The checker flag is waving for Alex Rzazinski. Rzazinski will win at Chicagoland. Rzazinski, what paid off for him was his pit stop. The pit stop, he has to thank his pit crew for that awesome pit stop. Worked it down pit road, exit of pit road. Everything worked out in his favor for that green flag pit stop. Alex Rzazinski gets his first win on the series, and it's a big one here at Chicagoland. There's your race results for the race here at Chicagoland. If they would show us the results, don't look like they have those results there. So we'll look at it right here on the top 20 board. There it is. Before we show that, we'll empty that off and watch that 23 machine burn it down right up against the wall. First win of the season for the 23 machine. When we come back, we'll get you those final rundowns of this race.
My truck isn't something you want to see in your rearview mirror.
My truck is a 3,400-pound precision-guided sledgehammer.
I guess you could say my truck likes to take the path less traveled.
My truck never gets claustrophobic in tight spaces.
My truck doesn't haul tools, but hardware, that's a different story.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Tough trucks, tough racing.
There's the race results here at Chicagoland. Alex Rzazinski gets the win. Nick Galusha in second. Trevor Cataldo gets the third position. Derek Rothling gets the fourth position of the 88 machine. Fifth comes home Paul Megas. Sixth is Patrick Day. Seventh is Grant Clark. Eighth is Randy Lapidus. Ninth is Jeff Herman. 10th is Zach Dykstra. 11th is Ernie Williams. 12th is Harold Ralph. 13th is Andrew Thornton. 14th is Daniel Quigley. 15th is Jason Haynes. 16th is John Ott. 17th is Greg Bridge Jr. 18th is Byron Gay. That is your top 18 there. We'll try to move it along if we can. 19th, Yosifer. 20th, Sam Reed. 23rd, Stephen Polacek. 22nd, Timmy Lewis. 23rd, Nate Davis. 24th, Kyle Wellman. 25th, Larry Bell. 26th, Bobby Smith. 27th, Steve Miller. 28th is Chris Miller. 29th is Paul Fly. 30th is Brandon Boyles. 31st is Ryan Palmer. And 32nd, Edmund Jones. So that is how this race concludes. As Timothy Lewis had a dominant performance last weekend. Really struggled here in this one as he went off the track early in on this race and really he came back in the race but just wasn't able to rebound any from that. So we'll take a short break here. We'll be right back with your finishers and maybe some other drivers in this to get some clarification on where some of these drivers finished. We'll be right back.
What does it mean to be official? To earn the badge as a trusted source, a symbol of quality and pride. For 95 years, Craftsman Tools has been the backbone for those who build, for those who innovate, for those who pursue goals greater than themselves. To be the official tool of NASCAR is to represent the best of what's possible. For the teams, for the sport, for the future.
That's a problem. Put on the brake, wheels to the left. Go, 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 go.
Oh no!
Be aggressive, Ernie.
Checkered flag is in the air, and he has done it!
And that future? Well, it's back to where we started. The NASCAR Truck Series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series returns in 2023. We build pride. One turn, one lap, one race at a time.
All right, welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway, where we've seen Alex Rosinski get the win, Nick Galusha in second, and we do have Nick Galusha here pit side. Nick Galusha came home second, has to feel pretty good. Looks like he was trying to reel in the race leader, wasn't able to do it. Overall, second place finish, have to be happy with that.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. I just ran out of tire. Story of my life at the end of the race there. But yeah, solid run. I'll take another second. Solid points tonight. Can't complain.
Yeah, he came into the series second in points, and that's the way it seemed like it's been panning out for you, is consistency has been paying off for you. And that may be the storybook for this season, is the consistency may end up winning this series as you come home second once again. You do lead some more laps, so you were up front running a little bit. We're going to be heading to Bristol next, and that's an interesting one. Short track racing. What do you think we're going to see from you there?
Yeah, I like the short tracks. I'm usually quick at Bristol. I don't know if there's going to be a long run if I would be quick, but we'll see. But I feel like there will be a lot of cautions being a short track.
All right, well, congratulations on the second place finish. We'll see you next week at Bristol.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Let's talk to Trevor here. Trevor, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Trevor, I'm sorry. I may have been butchering your name the entire race. How do you say your last name?
Catalano.
Catalano. Okay, I was close. I will say that. Hey, you come home third. You looked really strong. You took over the race lead. You started to gap them, and then the pits came under green flag. Take us through that pit stop scenario and where you shaked up on the track.
Yeah, I came down pit road good, and then I drove through my pit stall and missed it. So it kind of set us back a little bit, and then when I came out, I kind of ran them guys down a little bit, but then we kind of evened out there.
Yeah, so one little mistake like that can ultimately cost you everything. You were coming there at the end, and we was watching the intervals, and you were coming, and you was closing in on Nick Galusha, you was closing in on Alex Rzinski, just ran out of time, and unfortunate, a small little mistake gets you away from the win. We're going to Bristol next. I talked to Nick, how he's going to fare there at Bristol. Where do you think you're going to see yourself at Bristol next week?
I think Bristol's probably one of my better tracks. I'm more of a short track kind of guy, so I think we should be good. One of my biggest things is trying to be better on the long runs, which is I think is where we saw, in that middle run there before the pit stop, where I kind of had my strength there. I kind of pulled away from Nick a little bit, but I think we should be good.
Well, again, congratulations on the podium finish. Finished third tonight. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
All right, we got your race winner, Alex Rzinski. You got a copy?
Yeah, do you got me?
We've got you. Alex, I tell you, we've seen you slowly but surely work through the field. We've seen you coming up through about halfway through the race. We've seen you coming. You got the green flag pit stop, and you dominated in the pits and came out. Take us through that scenario of the green flag pit stop and where it led you out on the track.
Well, I don't race a lot of asphalt, so doing the green flag pit stop is kind of foreign to me. So I figured that I could drive it in hard and not lock it up and still get maybe pass someone on pit road doing that. And I saw the guy in front of me going he kind of locked it up and almost half spun. I was able to get the car wheel down without locking it up. Got a good run into there, and then next thing you know, I feel like I was just pretty much leading. I didn't really know what to do because I don't race asphalt enough to really know the pace that I need to set, but I just figured I'd keep on doing what I was doing, and it seemed to work out.
Yeah, it seemed to work out for you. And there at the closing ends of this race, you had Nick Galusha, and Galusha is known to be a pretty aggressive driver on these asphalts, and he's very good at short runs. How much were you looking in that mirror and where you was running out on the track?
Well, I knew about 10 laps into the run. I found out in the first pretty long green flag run we had that about 10 laps in you can actually move up top and let the top side work, and I didn't see a lot of people doing it, and that's how I was able to catch people on the start. And I don't know how a lot of these guys truthfully race on these 1.5 mile tracks, and I just knew that if I could just run my race, I'd be fine. I feel like I can, just by looking at my relative, I feel like I can a lot of the time just keep my space that I need to just for comfort. And next thing I felt like I started to pull away there, but I was definitely using my tires up more there than I would have liked. But when you only had 15 laps on a green flag run there after we pitted, so it was fun.
Well, congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that was your race winner. I want to move on to Derek Roffling as he gets out of the car. Derek had a pretty strong running from you in that 88 machine. Tell me what it was like running up front there. I mean, there was moments where you were right up there in the mix of the lead.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. Me and Kyle kind of had a plan there we were trying to get out front and run away, and we just couldn't get out far enough away from Nick and Trevor there. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I somehow lost like a second and a half in my pit stop. I couldn't figure out where I did that, but other than that, yeah, I had a pretty solid race. Not finishing well at Daytona and not being able to race New Hampshire. I had a good points night.
Absolutely, and that's what it's going to take, I believe, is looking at the season as a whole. It's going to take consistency that's going to, give that crown that champion over the long haul. You're able to bring home that 4th position, still looking for that podium position. We're going to be heading to Bristol next week. What's your chances there?
I do like Bristol. Bristol is a favored track for me because of the banking, and if you can get out front, you can stay out front. So I plan on there being a decent amount of cautions there. So if I can qualify top 5, I will try and challenge for the lead there as well.
All right. Well, congratulations again on that 4th place finish. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Ryan.
Let's talk to Paul Negus. He finished in the 5th position. So, Paul, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Paul, you was able to bring it home in the 5th position. You got a little bit of incident early in on the race. Was able to rebound on that. Take us through that.
Yeah, just trying to buy my time, save some tires. Got collected there. Cars spinning around the track, coming from the top to the bottom, just got collected there. I don't try not to use my quick repair there that early in the race, but I guess I had no choice and was lucky enough to. Actually, I was lagged back there and wasn't able to catch a pace car. Got into pit road early, which put me up mid-pack, and was able to kind of hold on to that and keep it up towards the front after that.
So you've been very, very consistent. That's something that we talked about on a Countdown to Green show, was your consistency so far. Still have not seen that win yet. We've seen a little bit of you up front leading, but we're going to head to Bristol Motor Speedway next week, where it's a short track. It's kind of like one of those tracks that some people is great at and other people is just not good at short tracks. And where are you going to fare here?
I actually was just talking to Pat in the lobby about it, and it's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of cautions. Guys are going to want to get the power down off the corners, and they're going to loop it around. It's a tough track to race at. It's not one of my favorites or best. I think the 1.5 miles, Richmond, I'll be okay. I did fairly well at New Hampshire. I was surprised with that, but it's just take what I can get out of it, not push it. Ultimately, these guys are good. Take what you can get and be consistent is my key, hopefully, to be top 3 here in the championship, I'm hoping.
Well, congratulations again on taking away a top 5 here tonight. We'll see you next week at Bristol.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, next we're going to bring in Patrick Day. Patrick, able to bring it home in the 6th position today in the 24 machine. I know you're probably trying to get inside that top 3. Are you happy with the 6th place finish?
I am happy with the 6th place finish, but I'm disappointed. I was a top 3 car. Had an incident, not Catalano's fault. I don't think he meant it, but he spun me when we were getting into our pits. So I went in running 3rd. He spun me. I came out running almost last, except for the guys that were involved with the accidents there. So I had to claw my way back. And was able to do it. I used my stuff up so much trying to get back up through the field that Paul got me there at the last corner, or the last lap, and nipped me for 5th there. But yeah, I'll definitely take a 6. That's better than the 20th plus that I was getting in the first 2 races. So if this is an inkling of what's to come, then I'm pretty positive.
Slowly but surely coming in the right direction. We're going to head to Bristol. We hear that Bristol may have been one of your better tracks that you've circled. What do you think you're going to see there?
It's a better track when a race goes green like tonight's did for me. I tend to run the bottom there, save my tires, and then just pull the guys back in and pass them. I don't think we're going to have that. I think we're going to have a New Hampshire type style race. I think there's going to be a lot of cautions. It's not going to play to my strengths, but I told Grant tonight, I was like, you know what, the gloves are coming off. I'm not being a nice guy anymore. I can't. Not the way these guys are driving. So I'm going to be just as aggressive as they're going to be, and we'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations again on the 6th place finish. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Appreciate the broadcast. Great job.
Thank you. Okay, I am going to try to shoot out there on the limb and see if I can bring in Timothy Lewis so we can get an explanation here. Timmy Lewis, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, we see you running up front, looking really good. We did not catch it, and so we want a little clarification. What happened late in this race for you to drop back into the 22nd position?
I got loose there in the beginning. It was all on me, and then when we had that green flag pit stop, I got an unsafe entrance on pit road because I got a little loose getting in, and I just missed it, and I had to hold, so I ended up going 2 laps down, and we never got a caution, so I can just get my lap back, unfortunately.
That's what we kind of thought may have happened there with you, as we've seen a couple cars that may have had some issues getting in on pit road, maybe even speeding. So you finished 22nd after you dominated last week at New Hampshire. We're going to move on to Bristol, where we can erase this track for you. Where do you think you see yourself at Bristol?
Bristol, I'm hoping just to be up front early on and then just kind of ride if we get a long run and just make it through traffic and be smart and save my tires, because it's a long race, 200 laps, so you never know what can happen.
Well, better luck to you next week at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we've got here for Chicagoland. Again, next week, November 15th, we'll be at Bristol. Thank you for tuning in to Tarmac Esports. We'll see you next week.